So lately I've been touching on, anime manga that I don't typically touch on. I've never spoken about this series before. It was requested, but I also found out it is quite popular of a series, even though it's older. If you like content like this where I explore anime, manga, scale them, talk about their powers, all that good stuff, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content from me. And also check out the coffee shop creators whose links will be in the video description. But yeah, today I'm going to be discussing the power briefly on Vampire Hunter D, particularly what he's capable of and what makes him such a dangerous combatant. I will be taking both from the manga and from the light novels. The light novel scaling gets crazy, so I'm definitely excited to review that. And yeah, if you're a Vampire Hunter D fan, make sure to hit the like button. And if this does very well, I will feature him in an upcoming versus battle and in my Who Can Beat series. So let's talk about what Vampire Hunter D has accomplished in both the manga and the light novels, starting with the manga first. Now, Vampire Hunter D is so strong because D is a mix of both human or light and vampire or dark, and the ability to balance both is what gives him an insane range of power. Okay, so his blows are actually capable of negating healing factors, and his weapons scale above conventional weaponry, as the werewolf he was fighting was believed to be invulnerable otherwise, yet these hunters can his weapons can casually bypass your healing factor and kill you. He's also immune to noble spells. This is impressive because nobles themselves have demonstrated magic and the use of magical devices that can literally alter reality, like for instance turning day and night to day pretty easily. He's been able to paralyze people literally with just his presence, obviously an attribute commonly associated with characters like werewolves and vampires throughout literature. He's going to have some of these mythological powers typically associated with these beings, and one of them, like I said, is literally if you're in his face and you can't neg paralysis, you're done. He's gonna fold you after he paralyzes you passively. He also seems to be able to absorb things like plagues, sickness, and disease through literally the palm of his hand, allowing him to absorb different assassination techniques that could be employed against him. His hand, once when he was taken down, found its way back to him and used the earth elements around it to help actually revive and regenerate the previously perished vampire hunter. He's also defeated a mutant who was shown on panel to be able to manipulate space itself, which just, goes hand in hand with what I previously mentioned with him negating stuff like magic that's been associated with altering time. Noble vampires embody darkness while humans embody the light, as I mentioned, which gives D the ability to dip into both. And you see this a lot in fiction, with the duality aspect, but it really is crazy here because it gives him access to powers on both sides. He also is able to perform mind hacks and mental manipulation in order to extract information. He showcased this in the manga when with just his hand he can extract information from characters. This, of course, if fighting someone, he could potentially use this to learn your weaknesses. He also seems to have a level of the physical space in front of him, control over it. But not only that, it's either that or he has some weird force field, because an attack literally split that was spit at him in the middle of the air. It just completely split itself. So he does seem to have some kind of TK or invisible psionic force shield protecting him. He's also casually, for those that are speed buffs, we're going to get into a little bit higher speed, but he's been able to casually split a bolt of lightning, no problem. His hand once was casually able to absorb a nuclear reactor. He has actually gone up in the manga against a different version of himself. It was a completely different copy, and the copy came after him. Of course, D folded him pretty easily. Vampire Hunter D was also shown capable of killing a woman, and this woman was impressive because literally she warped a world in her dream And this became like its reality, and the only way to undo and get out of the reality was to kill the woman, which D was able to do, which is pretty impressive for defeating a reality warper. His glare is actually compared to Dracula himself, who can literally pierce souls with a mere glare. He also, one time, in one of his crazier feats, went up against a sentient infinite desert. And during this scrap, D was putting in so much work that basically the desert had to beg for mercy, and it conceded that D was pretty much too dangerous to even try to scrap and go after. And this is when we see Vampire Hunter D pretty easily destroy the heart of the infinite desert itself, which is pretty impressive. Dreams can also be considered like dimensions or layered dimensions in this verse, and we've literally seen D cut through dimensions casually. And he's also, in terms of combative feats, defeated an enemy who literally could see like moves coming and had insane levels of precog, and he casually negged it. But with all his crazy manga feats out the way, I kind of want to talk about some other stuff we found in the novels that makes it interesting. Also, shout out my boy, my lawyer GB, for helping me research this. D doesn't actually exist in the Akashic records, which record all of creation and existence, and the records actually are from the void or ethereal outside of creation, and this is how he's able to see everything. But when confronting D, literally it's stated D is nowhere in the records, so technically he shouldn't be bound to like fate or bound at that point to that particular fate or history in the verse. Pretty interesting to talk about for hacks. Now, the records actually leaking could threaten to warp the very fabric of existence or the universe itself. This is important for scaling, which we're about to get to in a minute. And he could, at that point, resist a merged Dracula who literally bent the Akashic records to his will, and this would mean he is beyond conventional reality warping, literally of a universal level, as, like I said, the records literally can warp all of reality to what you want it to be. At this point in the fight, D literally had something related quite verbatim to a black hole thrown at him, as dense as one too, and it didn't do anything to him. Like, he was fine. And he literally threw it right back. And that black hole was said to be like nothing compared to the presence D was fighting. And also in this book, finally, it's stated, it's kind of weird, but D actually has the ability to take down, defeat, or destroy potentially the non-existent, which is a crazy hack to have. Like, let's say a character can defend itself by turning non-existent. D would have the ability to still kill that being, even if it, quote, doesn't exist anymore. That's an absurd AP hack. It's very weird. You don't see it often, and I thought it was very interesting. But overall, Vampire Hunter D is one of the hardest characters to game plan for, because he kind of fluctuates in terms of where he should scale for like AP, basic durability, speed, all that. But his hacks, regen, and ability are very unique and dangerous and versatile, which would make him, like I said, interesting to add to the Who Could Beat series. In terms of who he could beat, like, I think he'd destroy characters like Blade. A lot of times I see him matched up with characters like Blade from Marvel. That's not a good look. Blade would get beat up, so I definitely wouldn't do that. I think his hacks make him a hard matchup for most characters. But yeah, if you want to see him get put in a versus battle or put in my Who Can Beat series, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. But anyways, it's been your boy YFE. This was my introduction to the channel for the Vampire Hunter D verse. If you guys enjoyed it, like I said, you gotta let me know by hitting the like button and commenting down below. I have other great content coming out soon. For instance, you will be seeing Brainiac vs. Ultron on Don's channel either today or tomorrow, depending on how fast I edit it. And you'll be seeing content like Jiren vs. Juggernaut coming up soon. A new series called Tech Wars, where I compare tech and fiction. Whole bunch of crazy stuff for the channel. I hope you guys are excited. I am, but let's wrap it up. It's been your boy YFE, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.